Johan Fuchs of Audi AG, who's in chassis development, is one of the brainchilds behind the Sport Differential that we have here on this great new S4. So Dr. Fuchs is going to talk about what we're going to feel as a driver driving the car. So how do you do, Dr. Fuchs?
Oh, thank you. Fine, very much.
Very good. So tell us about, we're taking this S4 on a mountain road. What are we going to feel?
Oh, I think you will have a big pleasure if you go up the hill, because with our new quattro system with Sport Differential, we can eliminate nearly totally understeering. And if you go up the mountains and cornering with a Sport Differential, we distribute the torque to the outer wheel and make a movement, so the car will easier turn into the curve. And so it's
going to affect the turn in and the response.
It's easy to drive, and you don't need so much steering effort. And it's quite fun if you drive with the S-Tronic. You also can use pedals on the steering wheel. You don't have to move your hands. So it's quite a pleasure to drive this car.
And so tell me how it changes, though, for instance, in decelerating and accelerating, because it will shift the torque and have a different effect on that, right?
We have different functionality. One big functionality is when you accelerate in a curve. Normal cars tend to understeer because of the load distribution, and to compensate this understeer, we shift the torque to the outer wheel and get a toe-in moment.
From that time, right?
This is one.
So it's essentially like a steering. It's like a rear steering system by giving you the toe-in.
It feels a little bit like steering with a rear axle. And second good functionality is to improve the agility. If you go straight on and you steer, the reaction to the steering input is much quicker and much better than without this differential.
Okay, so for example, you're on a track and you have a fast change in the polar movement in the car between left and right. You've got 150 milliseconds, and this differential is shifting the power.
Yes, it's very quick. So if you turn in, it's immediately we react and we support your steering input that the car is driving right like on rails, and you on carving sheets, so you have no time delay, a quick response, and the car is following very directly to your steering input.
So one of the expressions that we have in America about cars is called canyon carving.
Oh yeah.
And so this is really a canyon carving tool, isn't it?
It's a good example for this.
And how many Newton meters of torque is the Sport Differential able to handle from the motor? What capacity motor would it be able to handle?
It's possible to distribute 1,800 Newton meters.
So for example, if you had a high torque motor that had more Newton meters than this V6, could you use the Sport Differential?
Of course, this is no problem.
No problem.
We can distribute.
A 4.2 TDI would be no problem to the Sport Differential?
Would be no problem, yes. Because
fantastic.
the torque we distribute doesn't depend on the torque input from the motor. It also works if you throttle off or don't have any gear.
So if you're in neutral,
it also works.
It's also working.
Also working. If the tires are rolling, the Sport differential is working.
So the bidirectional motor, what is the voltage range of the input from the control system to the bidirectional motor? It goes from a positive DC to a negative DC and anywhere in between?
The voltage varies between plus 12 volt to minus 12 volt.
So you have a power supply, a separate power supply that's given it and you were able to control the polarity as with a computer input.
Yes.
Boy, that is great.
We measure the steering angle, we measure the gear ratio, we measure the lateral acceleration, and also the throttle pedal and so on. And our algorithm controls in which situation the driver needs which torque distribution to each wheel.
Now, one of the interesting things is you make a better driver with this system than a normal driver would be in a situation on a canyon road and so on. You're making him a better driver.
Oh yeah, we can say that it's more easily to drive this car and
drive it quick.
And drive it very, very quick, yes. So it improves the cornering speed.
Now in Germany, the Sport Differential will be an option available on many different models of the MLP platform.
Yes.
So A4, A5.
We start with A4 and
A4.
Later on I think we will bring it on the A5 also.
A5 also, and other models throughout the range. So when we see the new A6, the new C7 A6, then it would be available also.
Possible, yes.
Possible.
Of course, yes, possible.
Well, Dr. Fuchs, thank you very much. I really appreciate the information.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very much.
spending your time with us today.
Thank you.